Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Michael Vick, live on VicTube, and today I'm continuing my preview and prediction series. So now today I'm going to be finishing up the rest of the SEC West. So today I'm going to do Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Arkansas. So now we'll start with the Ole Miss Rebels going into their second year with head coach Lane Kiffin. Of course, Lane, Kiffin is known for, being an offensive guru. So, but anyway, yes. So last year, of course, they did have a really good offense, but they had but the problem was they also had a terrible defense, as they were 5-5. You had been all SEC schedule plus a bowl game. Yeah, they had 9 regular season SEC games because they had a game against Texas A&M that got canceled. Plus, got a 10th game. Yeah, they did. My mom beat Indiana in their bowl game. And of course, they're also known for for almost beating Alabama. Yeah, for hanging 48 points on Alabama. But the problem was they also gave up 63. So that was a great game. Really went toe to toe with Alabama for 3.5 quarters. But then of course they did. But then Alabama did, of course, end up pulling away in the last few minutes. But anyway, yes. So on their mum defense, yeah, they do return most of their defense, except they lose their leading tackler, Jacquez Jones. Yeah, he transferred to Kentucky. But on offense, you do have Matt Corral. Yeah, he's an elite quarterback. He's he is a Heisman contender. So he threw for over 3,000 yards last year in just 10 games. So, and they do lose their top 2 receivers and wide receiver Elijah Moore and tight end Kenny Yaboa. But they still have plenty of talent on the offense. Of course, they do return a really good duo of running backs. In Jarian Ely and Snoop Connor. Yeah, they're basically like 1A and 1B. And then they do still have some talented wide receiver. Still got that Jonathan Mingo and Braylon Sanders and Dontario Drummond or Drummond. And then so anyways, now let's get into Ole Miss's schedule. So I think that Ole Miss is going to have an elite offense again. Yeah, it's going to be a top 10 offense. But I think their defense will hold them back and will let them down in some games. So anyway, so they open against Louisville, at a neutral site game in Atlanta. And I have this one as a win. Yes, I have you beating Louisville. You just know that Ole Miss's defense was terrible last year, but so was Louisville's. So yes, I think that Ole Miss is more than capable of outscoring Louisville. So I have that as a win, and then next we got Austin P. You will completely demolish them. And then Tulane is their Conference USA team. I think that should be an easy win. I think you should destroy them as well. And then next you've got your bye week. It's a bad place for a bye week. You have your bye week in week 4. Anyway, so then we come out of your bye week, and then you have to play at Alabama, who you almost beat last year. And this is one of the games where some people have Ole Miss upsetting Alabama. I think that most analysts who are predicting a loss for Alabama have them losing to either Ole Miss or Texas A&M. Of course, you know that I already have Alabama losing to Texas A&M. So so I don't think that we see 63-48 in this game. I think it'll be a little bit lower scoring than that. So I do have Alabama beating you. And then next we got Arkansas. I have that as a win. And then next we got at Tennessee. Tennessee is terrible. That's a win. And then we got LSU at home. Of course, last year you gave up 53 to LSU. You scored 48. So another shootout like with the Alabama game. And again, it's hard to win when you're giving up when you give up 50 points. But I think Ole Miss's defense will at least show a little bit of improvement. That's what I'm counting on. I said, and we already know what Ole Miss's offense can do. So yes, I have Ole Miss beating LSU at home, and then next we got they're at Auburn. Yes, and I do have you going into Jordan Hare. It's a tough place to play, and I do have you dropping this one. And then next we got Liberty. Yep, and my mom. And Hugh Freeze, my mom, Hugh Freeze returns to Oxford. Of course, we all know what happened with Hugh Freeze at Ole Miss. And of course, we know about all the cheating, scandal going on down there. But they were my mom buying my mom recruits. Giving them, special, benefits, which of course you're not allowed to do. So they cheated. They got caught, and and then of course Ole Miss ended up getting slapped with a 2-year bowl ban. It's back in like 2017, and then of course they also fired Hugh Freeze after they found out that he had been on his phone. Yeah, that he had been messaging prostitutes, or he made calls to an escort service. So then they fired him. So yeah, now he's coming back. I know that my mom might have considered picking an upset here, but I didn't. But I think that that this Ole Miss team will be highly motivated. Will be highly motivated in this game. So I do have you win in this one. And then next we've got Texas A&M, and again, yes, and I have you upsetting Texas A&M at home, just like with LSU. And then Vandy, that's a win. Yeah, that's a win. Yeah, you're going to annihilate Vandy. I mean, the Vandy is absolutely terrible. So, and then you're at your in-state rival, Mississippi State, and I have you going on the road and being upset by Mississippi State to end the regular season. Well, then I know that seems very inconsistent. Yes, that I have them beating LSU and Texas A&M, and I also have them turning around and losing to Auburn and Mississippi State. So again, I think that they're not going to be consistent enough to win every game that they're favored in. I think I had alluded to that. I think their defense is gonna let them down in some games. Is that Auburn and Mississippi State would be one of those games. So anyway, so now I have Ole Miss going 9-3 and 5-3 in the SEC. So next, we're going to move on to Mississippi State. Mississippi State going into their second year with Mike Leach, aka Bigfoot. Off a season where they went, they were what, like 4-6, right? Or 4-7, yeah, right, 4-7. They won like 3 games in the regular season, and then they my mom beat Tulsa in their bowl game. So then, and of course, yes, though, just, very, my mom, inconsistent, some games that their offense was great. My mom, some games, their offense didn't show up at all. It's like with LSU when they threw for like 600 yards and then upset the defending champs at the start of the season, and then only scoring 2 points against Kentucky to, throwing for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns on Georgia. So, anyway, so this my mom offense, needs to get better. Needs to be more consistent. So and I think that it will, after getting a full off season, with spring and summer practices. So anyway, so about their quarterbacks, of course, KJ Costello was their quarterback who threw for 600 yards against LSU, and then he wasn't very good for the rest of the season, and then eventually he got benched in favor of freshman Will Rogers. So then Costello has left to go to the NFL. So it looks like this is going to be Rogers' team. And then, so anyway, so on their offense, they do lose wide receiver Osiris Mitchell, but they do bring back their leading receiver Jaden Wally. So, and then they do lose a few key pieces on defense, including their leading tackler Earl Thompson. But anyway, so now let's get into it, into their schedule. I mean, so start out week 1. It's Louisiana Tech. It was a Group of 5 team. Yep, Conference USA. That ought to be a win. And then you get NC State at home. And yes, I do think I have you beating my mom, NC State. At home, I think that my mom air raid offense clicks in this game, and you get the win. And then about at Memphis, Memphis is one of the better Group of 5 teams, although they're not as good as they were in like 2019 when they made a New Year's Six bowl. I think they're pretty good, but they're not like Cincinnati or Boise State or Coastal Carolina. So I really thought about picking upset here, but I decided I'd just go ahead and give Mississippi State the win here. And then LSU. Now, if you've seen my LSU preview, then you know that I have Mississippi State upsetting LSU. I know it's hard to believe that that LSU will lose to Mississippi State twice, but we thought that about Kansas State. We thought Kansas State. There's no way that Kansas State will beat Oklahoma 2 years in a row, but they did. So, and next we got we're at Texas A&M, and I have. And if you've seen my A&M preview, then you know that I also have this one as a loss. But I think A&M is going to be really good. So this is not a bad loss. And you got a bye week, and then you have Alabama. Yeah, this is a loss. Yep. Alabama will destroy you. Yeah, sorry. And then and then the good news is you have to play at Vanderbilt. You have the worst team in the SEC. Yeah, you're just going to completely decimate them. And then next we got Kentucky. And yes, I do have you losing to Kentucky. We got, and I do have you losing 3 in a row. I have Kentucky at Arkansas. And Auburn, I do have you losing all 3 of those. But the good news is you get to reset with an easy win against Tennessee State. And then I also have you upsetting your in-state rival Ole Miss. In the Egg Bowl. We have to finish out the regular season. So I have you finishing with a record of 7-5, and 3-5, and yes, 7-5 overall, and 3-5 in the SEC. Okay, so now next, last team that we're going to do, we got the Arkansas Razorbacks. Now Arkansas, going into their second year under Sam Pittman, of course, the former Georgia offensive line coach under Kirby Smart, and then also former Arkansas offensive line coach under Brett Bielema. Oh, anyway, so they do lose Felipe Franks. Of course, he signed as an undrafted free agent to the Falcons. There's some quarterback. KJ Johnson is expected to get the start. But other than that, they return pretty much everyone else on their offense. Yeah, and they return most of their defense too. I think they lose just like 1 or 2 starters. So anyway, of course, and it was last year Arkansas went at a record of 3-7 in the SEC, and they were gonna go to a bowl game, but it got canceled due to COVID. So, anyways, you start out week 1 against Rice. Rice, there was a group of 5 team. Rice is absolutely terrible. Yeah, even for a group of 5 team, you'll demolish them. And then next, you've got Texas. who could be, Texas and Oklahoma could be joining the SEC as soon as next year. Horns down though. Yes, and I do have, you know what? I do have Arkansas upsetting Texas at home. In Fayetteville, that is. Arkansas is home. And then my mom, as you got Georgia Southern. And they're a group of 5 team. So I think that you should beat them. So I gave you the benefit of the doubt and gave you a win there. And then next you've got Texas A&M. You've never beat Texas A&M since they joined the SEC, and that's not about to change this year. And then next, you've got Georgia. Georgia's gonna humiliate you. Just like we did last year. JT is gonna light you up. And then next, you're at Ole Miss, and I have this one as a loss. So you're on a 3-game losing streak, but the good news is, I do have you beating Auburn. Of course, you almost beat Auburn last year. Really, you should have beat Auburn. There was a bad call at the end of that game. But anyway, so I do have you beating them this year, though. And the next you play UAPB. It was Arkansas Pine Bluff, and FCS team. You're going to absolutely obliterate them. And then takes you to your bye week. Come out of that bye week, and I do have you beating Mississippi State. And then, let's see, at LSU, I have this as a loss. I think you're going to get Skull Drug. And then Alabama. You're going to be pulverized. And then Mizzou, I have you losing to that game. You losing to your cross-border rival in Mizzou to in the season. So anyway, so I do have Arkansas going 6-6 and 2-6 in the SEC. Okay. So let me know what y'all think in the comments. And thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all again next time.